Hello everyone, thanks for joining me today on Tamper with the Plan. In this video we are in our pop-up planner, which I am using as a homeschool planner. Now homeschool starts 4 days, so I definitely need to get on it, but I have been able to do a couple things. I'm going to show you this. I decided to use the top page of this week as a pre-plan area, and so I was able to do our entire weekly schedule through this. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just on these little stickers that I decorated. I have some extra things Thursdays, something on Sunday, PE, 3 times a week, and chores daily. So this is my little pre-plan area. So now what I want to do is talk to you about how I think this is going to work, and then also get the quarter set up. We will also be filling in next week completely. For this planner, one thing that I want to talk about is that Saturday and Sunday are not really needed, even for the homeschool planner. We used to do stuff on Sunday, but since they're older now, I really give them like just Sunday to have a day off. And Saturday also we are not going to need. So what I'm going to do is just white out the actual dates because they are down here. It's not going to be needed up here. And if there is something that I want them to do on those days, I will put it down here in the monthly. That way we have extra space. So I'm going to talk about a couple of ways. Now, what is different about our family, which is probably unique to our family, is that all 3 of my sons do exactly the same thing, with the exception of like maybe slightly different writing assignments and maybe a couple more questions. So I have 3 teenage boys. They all do the same exact books, so the same exact lesson numbers at the same time, and then just maybe slightly different assignments. And we started doing that a couple years ago because my youngest was just like super eager to get ahead. My oldest is actually out of school, but since he lives here, I do make him do school with his brothers, the poor kid. But he is saving to move out, so you know, soon he'll be free from that. But I just wanted him to keep a sharp mind. So all 3 of my sons do the exact same. So that's something that's different with our family. So when I'm writing their subjects and lessons down here, I really only have to act like I have 1 kid's worth of assignments. So that gives me a lot more freedom. But I wanted to talk to you if you wanted to use this with multiple kids. I mean, I don't know, maybe at least 2 or 3 could work. These are my little flip sheets from July, and I was just going to show you how it could be used otherwise, because you could have, if you have an older kid, you can put them on the Sunday and Saturday, and you could do something like, just because they can pay a little better attention, you could put an M and then do, you know, whatever the child's name is. So I'm going to say number 1, the oldest, or whichever one's really good at paying attention to detail. These are just ideas. So for Monday you could say, you know, math, and you could say lesson 12, science, page 52. You get 6 subjects over here on the Sunday. So you might be able, and as if you write small, you might be able to get more on there, but I think it could be doable depending on how many subjects they do for the day. You could also do something like this. You can say Monday and Wednesday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday. What are the subjects they have? And then just have their subjects on there. So that would be more like a list form. The other thing that could be done is an older child could also be up here. So let's say child number 2, and you can do Monday, math, you know, lesson 7, science, page 52 through 60. Do little dots. So you have some room. You could probably get a couple days across here, and then between these 2, I do think you can put an entire child along the top and along the bottom. Now I know that that could be messy. You can use highlighters to make it more clear, like whose lessons these are. Like, you know, just highlight for all. This is all. I should have done child number 1 up here still. You know, and then they can know to look for like whatever highlight it is. So this is just an idea how to use it with multiple children that could work, but it's not something I have to do. So don't take my word for it. Just think about honestly if it could work for you guys. Now for the actual days, You have 9 lines here. So for every day you would have 4.5 lines if you wanted to split this into different children. So we're gonna do the separation line here as an example. And then I think the easiest way, it really is highlighting. So then you can say, again, math, lesson 2, science, page 8 through 12. So you can fit a few things. You might be able to fit 2 per line, let's see, if you write really small. And if they're little enough, this is really for you to remember. History, storybook, let's say story. And then English, worksheet. Okay. So it really depends on how you're writing and what you want to do. So I'm only saying if you really love this pop-up planner and you want to make it work, these are ways that you could do it. So this top part could again be a different child for Monday. And then for Tuesday, so this is child number 2, child number 1, this could be child number 3. So it really depends on how many subjects you have, how much you want to write, but you can fit 2 per line if you need to. And then we'll highlight this as another child. Okay. So if I wanted to use the pop-up planner and my kids were on had completely different lessons, this is what I would do. Now, sometimes you can have a lot of different lessons, but you might come together for like a together reading time, maybe a together science and history, and then the older kids break off with more homework. That's what I did when they were little at first, until we just decided we're just gonna do it all the same. This is just an idea of what you can do for multiple children. So then Tuesday, you would have child 2 again, child 3 again, child 1 would still be up here, or here, or here. So they might be able to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You know, there is room, but you'd have to write small and you'd have to be fine with that. And the highlighter, I think, is a fun way to do it. I'm going to use highlighting in some things too. I'm just not sure exactly how I'm going to use it yet. I've had a couple ideas. The other idea is to take this page, and I'm just going to grab the ruler that's close, line it up with this. This is the flip up page, and you'd have to see if you want to do it like this, or let's just draw the lines first and then we can decide how we're going to do it. And I'll show you a couple of thoughts. Okay, so now you have this. So if you're going to flip it up, which if you don't know that, it'll be like this. So it'll be on the back side. You can flip it up, or you can have the next student flip it around, because now what you have 3 students that you can have here, and now you have more students that you can put on the back here. So let's say we're going to flip it up, okay? I do think that's kind of an easy way to do that. So we have, really, you only need Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then you have 2 extra days here too. So you could even put another student over here. Yeah, so let's say we're doing 2 more students up here, and then you can do 1 whole student over here. So let's do, we'll do 2 on this, and then we'll do 3 on this. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And yes, I'm just spitballing. I don't know if this would really work, so really think about it. But the reason I'm going through it is in case you want the pop-up planner for your family command center, and then you think, why not just write their homeschool assignments on there too? You could also have a separate notebook that you keep on the side for stuff. But this way, especially if your kids are older and independent, they can totally come and look. Okay, math, I have lesson 2 today. Science, I have to read page 8 to 12. History is my history story, you know. English is going to be a worksheet kind of thing, so if they can read themselves. So again, this can be child number 3, where we have child number 4, number 4 here, number 5 here. And so this is all child number 4. And this is all child number 5. And this can be child number 6. And again, we will have, you know, different highlighting. Oops, I went into that one, but you know what I mean. And then let's do like purple, I think. So the setup is a little time consuming. So at that point you have to say, am I really wanting to do this every week for homeschool? You know, homeschool's prep anyway, so you are prepping anyway, so is that little extra going to be bothersome, or do I really just want to jump into a teacher planner? I also just want to show you, so this is like my sample planner from Laurel Denise, and I have pretty much every layout in here that I own. I mean, obviously not the pop-up, but you can also come in here and do a vertical Laurel Denise. You put children here on the side, children's names on the side, subjects on the side, etc., etc. For the vertical, we also have the horizontal in here, which this can be turned into a block, style, layout, and also be turned into a teacher planner with your full calendar over here and then your notes over here. So if I wasn't wanting my kids to see it at all times, I would probably use the horizontal and turn it into a block layout. But because I am popping it down to the bottom of the stairs, I'm just gonna make use of the pop-up planner. But I just wanted to show you some extra ways. So you can have one child along the top and on the Sunday and Saturday pages. You can have one child just across on Monday, a second one down at the bottom, and then you can use this top page the same as well. Those are ideas, and hopefully that gives you some other ideas of whether you're using this planner or some other planner of just how you can set up and have different sections. Okay, so that's all I wanted to show you with my old pages. Let's look at our current pages that we're using right now. And as I said, I did work out what subjects we're gonna have on what days. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I'm very excited to get that done. Now we're gonna start filling out the actual planner on the days. So I'm gonna pull this off. So now I have my little section here that I can start writing. Two things I was thinking just for our family is I could do all Bible over here for the week. So I think I'm gonna do that. So this title is now going to be Bible. And then we're gonna say Monday. And Monday is going to be okay, so that worked out really nicely, and it takes off one line from my homeschool section. So now we're gonna do language arts, and I don't know, I think I am going to just do different dots, but we'll wait till the end. So language arts, I'm not sure what lesson they are on because I did make them start it early summer, and then I just decided to let them have a break. But I'm gonna put like lesson, it's still early, so I don't know what it is, but I'll put the lesson there. Then we have geography. And it is the cards. So they're just doing like flashcards right now for geography to get started back in. Math is going to be lesson 1. Art, they are going to have a worksheet for now. And then ASL, they're also going to do cards to start with vocab. All right, so look, I have quite a bit of room left. So I guess I could have fit the Bible in there, but let's just do a highlight for each one so they can tell it's a different subject. Whoops. And I think we'll do basketball again. And then we'll see which days are nice and like not too hot, and when we get ready, and then we'll decide, you know, what days to put the PE on. All right, gals. So now I'm just gonna come in and highlight each day a little, and I'm doing it, you know, not organized, but like I said, I do want to do it organized, where like reading's always brown. But right now I'm just keeping the subjects separate. Okay, is that it? Oh, and this. Yeah, so I definitely, I mean, I'm kind of annoyed that I didn't do it ahead of time before coming onto the channel to do this, but I do definitely want to color code these subjects. So I think I will do that in my quarter, which we're gonna do next, okay? So now we have the whole Bible reading for the whole week. We have all the assignments for the whole week. More specific when I get into their language arts books, which are right now, because of the slab leak, there's a bunch of stuff in front of my shelves from the closet still, because I didn't want to just shove it all back in the closet. For one, the drywall still needs repaired, but also I kind of am taking an opportunity to rearrange. So that should be done by today or tomorrow, and then I can get to those books and see what lessons they were on with their grammar and language arts. All right, but that's it. So it looks colorful and it looks fun, but I do want that color coding of the subjects. So let's go to our quarterly plan now. Now what you can see is I still have this entire thing to write something in. So hold on, I'll show you. Let's get this pop back in. This was just a quick example. I am slightly annoyed that that ripped, but I wasn't being careful, but also this is past. You know, I used it for myself just to pre-plan. Well, we're here on Thursday, so I won't need this again, except I just want to reference it. And it's still secure on there. I'm really just annoyed at myself for doing that. But anything up here, so like projects specifically, I can put what projects I want them to work on, how long I want them to work on it, like maybe steps I want them to get done. There might be some science supplies and stuff. So I still have some preparing to do. You know, Sunday's gonna probably be my biggest prepare day if I haven't done it before then, but I do hope I get it done today and tomorrow. But yeah, so science, any type of supplies for the science. Their supplies are already in their little bins, so that's easy enough. But getting all their books also in their bins, switched out from summer school to regular school. So notes for that can go up here, and it's still quite a bit of space, you know, quite a bit of space. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. As soon as I color code the subjects, I'll be even happier. So I just had the idea and I wanted to jump back on. I could make this into a block schedule. So I think this will work really well. What I'm gonna do first is just draw these lines again. Okay, now that the lines are drawn, we just come across with a block. So I think we could probably do so this is a rough draft. It doesn't look perfect. So I just want to remind you of that. I also think we can just white out this whole line of Sunday through Saturday. And then lengthen these. Okay, so these weren't perfectly even. I would probably want the top one to be a little bigger, but I'm just gonna pop in here. Oh, so this is how it will look, because when you're looking at a flip up schedule, you need the quill punched areas to be facing each other. So this is perfect that I made this box a little bigger. So now we're just gonna say, so we're gonna put subjects here. And now Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then this could be notes. So this would work really well for me because I'm doing 6 subjects per day. So let's just put in some subjects here. We'll do Bible, which will be every day. Some days we will have science, and some days we will have econ finance. History or projects, we'll say. History or read. And actually we could say and or. So, and or. Okay. So now if you do it this way, when you have multiple kids, you can do the different sections. Bible is usually like a family thing, but let's say science is on Monday, and let's say econ is on Tuesday. So I'm going to say S first to choose my subject. And then I can write, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you write it in small, and this could be lesson 10, lesson 7, lesson 5, or you could say page 50 through 55, page 7 through 12. Okay. I have the numbers on there for like the number of children, like your first child, second child. I'd probably put initials there. And then look, you can see lesson 10, lesson 7, lesson 5. So now you can have 5 kids. You could probably squeeze a 6th kid all in this science for Monday. And then Tuesday we want to do, say, econ. I can do the same thing. Especially, let's say you move the S over here, like over here. So it's a science day or an econ day. Now you could have that extra one up here. So now we could do 6. So this is just an example, and now I could do this for our homeschool. I actually kind of like this better than what I ended up doing this week. And I just got these out of September because they were blank and something to work with. But yeah, so now I have 6 subject blocks. I have and ors. So you can turn your pop-up planner into a block schedule for homeschooling. I am going to do this probably already decorated for this whole month. So now I'm kind of annoyed that I did that, but that's okay. One thing I could do, it wouldn't be too hard to remove these stickers, but I did outline. I think that's actually friction pen. So I could take that all off and switch it for the last week. But the other thing I could do, which I haven't used these yet, is grab this Post-it and pop it on there and do the blocks that way. So anyway, we'll see what we'll do next week. But this week I wrote it like this. Coming up, I will start setting it up like this. Yeah, I like that a lot. So I can erase all this because it's friction pen for my own use, or I could white it out for next month. But this is just an example of what you can do. And so what we're talking about, this flip up part, is what's right here. So instead of having like this little box just to write things, I could have extended the line up and made it into a box teacher planner. I like it a lot, guys. I'm glad I thought of that. I just wish I thought about it before I had finished with this week's setup. But as you can see, we are ready to go for next week with our subjects. And then for the last week of August, we can revisit this box option. So it would look like this. Block option. Super smart. And I could have a little decoration as well, like in the notes or in the subject. Maybe some washi to separate. Oh, I like it a lot. Okay. So that is another option. I hope that is understandable. If not, if it's a little confusing right now, we will set it up for next week. But let's pop these back into September to use when that time comes. So I guess stay tuned for that video. I did too much this week to change that up, but I like how this week turned out. It's super colorful and fun, but having the blocks in there, I don't know why I didn't think of that before. I wish I had. All right, gals. The overall point is that you can use this planner as a homeschool planner, whether you're using it my original way and just making a list, or whether you're gonna pop it up and do this fun block schedule section. There are ways to use this as a homeschool planner. So I just wanted to pop back on and tell you guys that kind of at the end of the video, so you can see a better option than what I even did this week. All right, so here was our just like general list of courses. And I think this is basically for the whole school year. So I might come back here when I have other ones that I want to add on. But for now, we're going to turn this page. Now our monthly schedule is over here. Remember, I didn't put this so I could flip it up. I put this so I could turn it around. So like here's their side, here's my side. What we're doing now is we're gonna do just the quarter subjects because this could change. And to do this, I'm just gonna washi off this page here. So I'm going to write, let's do a box. I just think it'll be more fun. So this is where I will start my key code for quarter one. And I will add my books for quarter 2, 3, and 4 later. It's probably going to be mostly the same subjects, but just in case anything changes, we'll add all that later. Okay. All right, so now I'm just going to assign them a color. And I'm going to do Bible with purple. And we do Bible. I'm also going to put how many times a week. So we'll do 5 times. Okay. All right, so any subjects that change or that maybe I find the books for, which I discussed already, later in the year, I can still come add things here or erase something, replace something if I think something is better than one of these topics, or I can save it for a second quarter, and etc. But this is how it looks, and it's cute and practical. It's gonna work. Now the next thing I want to talk about is when we come back over here, how we are going to do attendance. And all I'm thinking for attendance is when we have a school day. So for instance, the 18th, I am just going to write, because I have 3 kids, 1, 2, and 3. I mean, probably neater. And then I will check it off. So let's do it actually on the 6th, okay? So 1, 2, and 3. That's first son, second son, third son. Check it off, and then I can later, you know, count it for the month. So then for the month, I'm going to do final attendance here. And I actually only have to keep for 2 anyway. But I'll say for 1, his total will be whatever, 2 will be whatever, and 3 will be whatever. And I want to have that here because I want it to be easy to check. Then I can start doing, in September, I can start doing a running total. Somewhere here, running attendance. So then I can add this to September. So that's how I'm considering keeping attendance. Hopefully that works out. Okay, so let's just go over what we did today. We talked about my pre-plan week and how I just planned it out on the back page of this current week, which we're right here on the 14th. And then we did fill in the actual schedule for next week, which I'm super excited to have that figured out and filled in. And this always for my family can be an extra supply list or something else I want to remember, what projects I want to grab out, things like that. If we want to start at a later date, I can make those types of notes up here. I also do have some room up here to write something. So if I want to add something extra on Monday, I could put it here. Extra on Tuesday, Wednesday, you know. The stickers are a little in the way, but I don't think it's going to be a huge problem. Also note, if this washi, I should really just put up here one washi because it does take up an entire line. So I didn't need it this week, and I don't know that I will need it other weeks, but if I do, I can just remove it, honestly. I have all the Bible reading for the whole week over here, and I have the PE selections over here. If they want something other than basketball and badminton, I can always erase and add that in as well. And then we still have this area for planning, and even this last page for planning, because this doesn't coordinate with a week. So I can still add other things here, like if I think of another subject, or if we want to get out of the house and do a little field trip for something, or a different, some type of special lesson plan could be here, like a video that I want to watch instead of just doing this straight lesson. So all that can be here and here as well. But my attendance here, and then this is how I was going to do it, 1, 2, 3. But also I did show you just an idea of a way, and gals, I mean, this is just what I thought of. It doesn't mean it's going to work if you have multiple kids, how you can fit it in. And I got this idea because I don't remember who it was that I watched, but I watched a lady who homeschooled, and she had her work stuff and she had everything. I think she had it in the portrait planner, and she wrote so super tiny like that for her kids' homeschool, and her, I think it was a daughter, was still able to completely, and she wrote it like all across on the bottom. And her daughter was still able to check it and know what she had for homeschool. So I do think it's possibly doable. Although, as I said, if I didn't want it in a pop-up planner form, I would probably do homeschool in a vertical or really a horizontal layout from Laurel Denise. I think that has a lot of good room as well. So just remember the real estate that you have in this planner. You have the back pages of the weeklies, you have the weeklies, you have room up here, and then you have room on the back of all the back pages. We also did our little quarterly plan for our subjects for this quarter. Now what I want to do in a different video is come back and do like the yearly plans. I could have quarters marked off here, circle holidays, and put them on here, so we have different holidays than most people. So those can be added onto here and circled to remember for days off. So I do still want to completely get these done, but this video has been long enough. So we will do this in a different video where we're just setting up these pages. That should be a rather quick video, I hope. And hopefully I get it done by this weekend too, because I just really want everything ready for Monday when everything starts. But I am pretty excited to use this. I do think this planner has plenty of space for what I need. All right, gals, we are ready for the school year to start next Monday. I hope every homeschool mom has a really great school year. I know from experience now that days do not go how we always plan for them to go, so just be ready for that, and then just have some patience with yourself. And if everything on the list does not get done perfectly, we all know the things that can come up during homeschool. But I hope all you homeschool moms have a great homeschooling year. So that is it for this homeschool planner setup. Thanks so much for joining me today on Tamper with the Plan. I will see you next time. Bye, guys.